Hi, everybody. Chaz Patrick here from INvets, or as you know, from the Patrick Connection. And as you know, I am the Veteran Engagement Manager for Southern Indiana. That being said, here at INvets, we are here to help transitioning service members and their families get here to Indiana, or the Great Hoosier State. But part of this series with these monthly roundups is we're actually highlighting not only companies, but veterans that are with companies that can provide some insight as far as how to make your success optimal. That being said, I want to introduce a fellow veteran, Taylor Pendleton, and he will kind of tell us about who he is and all that great stuff. And I'll let you go ahead and take it, Taylor.
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Taylor Pendleton, and I just retired from the Indiana Army National Guard here recently. It's going to be March 8th of this year, so very new to me. And I transitioned over to Warrant Technologies, as my big banner is above me here. And they are in what we call GovCon, so defense contracting, the government contracting area, those kinds of things. I spent 17 years with the Indiana Army National Guard after medically retiring, and yeah, it's kind of been my little success story there.
Okay, perfect. So as far as because then I'm thinking like in the guard, like you can like transition states and stuff. So what kept you here for that whole entire time? Because right, because Indiana, I mean, you know,
Yeah, good question. So I was fortunate enough to be with a fantastic unit. So I started my time off in the 76th Brigade with those guys, and I was on and off ADOS orders all the time, doing AGR, little tidbits here and there, wherever I could kind of hop on. Did my first deployments right after AIT, so 2007, 2008 timeframe. Stayed there and then transitioned over to, I was oh, what do they call it? It was like a medical liaison type guy. And then I did some operations type stuff. And then we ramped up, ramped down for like 5 different mobilizations, that felt like. And then I finally, the sequestration hit under Barack Obama and transitioned to Virginia with the 29th Infantry Division and was picked up to go on Special Operations OIR. And then came back from that 2017 and then came back to Indiana. And you know, the big thing for me with Indiana is just it's one of those kind of quiet states. You don't realize the opportunities unless you really start to look for them. Because you know, even I tell people I work for Warren Technologies, and they're like, "Who's that? What's that do?" And I'm like, "Well, we work for Naval Warfare Center Crane, which is in Crane, Indiana, and it's one of the larger naval bases that supports a lot of active operational stuff. And then, of course, you have stuff up in Indianapolis that's also GovCon as well. So some really good opportunities here.
okay, perfect. Well, I guess my next question is like, so was Warren Technologies like your first job after you retired? You said so. So this actually is your first like job after retirement. Um, what different types of positions did you do in the military?
Yeah, so I have been, oh man, I have done everything from the sweeping the motor pool or mopping the rain guy, as everybody starts out. And then, of course, work my way up. I've been a medical readiness NCO. I've been a retention NCO. I was a recruiter for about 3 years. Um, I have spent time as a S1 deputy director over with the soft guys, J35 and J33, NCOIC. Uh, oh hell, all kinds of different stuff. 42 Alpha is kind of where I ended up at. And I've got one of those long MOS codes where it's like 42 Alpha E, this thing, that thing, all the other fancy letters and stuff. But yeah, I've done a lot of different things in the military.
So, man of jack of all trades, right?
Yeah.
So, like, how did were you able to really kind of take those responsibilities and duties and like help that like let that help you with your transition, right? So, like, because I know a lot of people have issues with the translation from military to civilian. So, like, how did you really kind of use that to cater to the jobs that you wanted?
Yeah. At first, I was terrible at it. I thought I was a resume wizard and went on there and did all the things, right? And I was like, I can wordsmith a resume, and I probably applied to like 50 or 60 different jobs, and I was getting no feedback. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, I'm super successful. Why can't the civilian side see that? And so what I did was I took a step back. I actually contacted INvets, contacted Hire Heroes, contacted a couple of these other organizations, and really Jerry Young and a couple of his friends really helped me out with some of my resume building. Yeah. The beard, the myth, the legend, right? But really, they helped me get back on track on kind of figuring out how to translate the military type duties that I had into civilian lingo. And that's where it kind of opened my eyes to see things a little bit differently, right? So, whereas I can say, hey, I was a J33 NCOIC, and every Army guy out there knows what I'm talking about. Whereas a civilian looks at you, like you're crazy, throwing these letters and numbers in here. So I took that and took a different approach. And I really used a couple of things. I used my JST. JST has some phenomenal kind of like job description type paragraphs that you can pull out of it. I also went and used a little wordsmithing from our fancy AI new friend via Rapid EPR. So got on Rapid EPR and was like, hey, this is what I think I did. Help me make it not sound Army, right? And it gave me some bullets, and I really just kind of use AI to get the creative fluids going and how to get the wordsmithing of that, NCO, get that out of there. I was, future operations specialist, all these, like, just use normal terms and languages instead of using these complex military languages. And then also trying to refrain myself from using acronyms. Of course, the military has 23 acronyms for about one word, right? But it's figuring out how do we not use that type of lingo and how do we transition it into more appropriately a position we're trying to apply for and or state it in our objective of what we're trying to do with our transition.
Awesome. Those are some good points. I mean, when you really think about the different skill sets that you have, the different types of skills that's within the military, generally speaking, because I know there's like hundreds of them, maybe even thousands, and really kind of making sure that you're speaking the language to the right audience. I always say that because, just like you're telling a story, but who are you telling it to?
Right.
Right. So I think that's, some really good insights, as far as, how you can be able to utilize those things and making sure that you're painting yourself in a good light. Now, I was going to ask you when it came to interviews, like, how was that for you?
Yeah, it was different. It's different because you have, you're going in there with a different expectation. I think everybody, when they do an interview type process, really thinks of a board, right? And when you walk into a board, you're stiff, uptight, got it all locked in, sitting at the position of attention, all those kinds of things. But the best advice I ever got was really just to try to relax and be myself and show my true character of who I am and answer those questions as professionally as I can. But also, try to, not be so stiff, not be so nervous. And I found practicing sometimes with some friends typically works. Or even, just trying to have a conversation with the interviewer before and like, hey, what's the dress code do I need to do, or how do I need to prepare? You'll find a lot of HRs are usually pretty relaxed and try and help you put your best foot forward. And of course, I'm aware there's a lot of good interviewing techniques. I believe that INvets has the capability to provide. And if not INvets, there's definitely somebody else out there via Work One that you guys can use, or not Work One. What's that called? I'm blanking it. Anywho, INvets or Hire Heroes is the other one I was thinking about. Those two organizations can really help both active service members, right? And then for those looking to transition, especially to the state of Indiana, INvets would be the way I'd go.
Fantastic. And we appreciate that vote of confidence, sir, and what all we do. And I guess you're just like you're how can I say it, success story. Right? Because you used us and you've been able to utilize those things obviously to your capability. Networking. Because we always talk about like networking,
Yeah.
talk to people. and I know, with your recruitment background, obviously that's a huge advantage, especially with talking to the civilian workforce. What are some best practices you can give? Because I know, like, in this day and age, like, the in person is important, but also like the virtual side
Yeah.
of it is too, right? So,
Yeah.
like, what can you like share on that end?
Yeah, so I will tell you, so I'm the hiring manager for Warrant Technologies. So not only do I see a lot of connections come in of folks wanting to connect, but I also see a lot of resumes of folks, looking for some advice as well. And so the best thing I could tell you on connection is you can do two things. One, you can go through and find a company that you're interested in and try to connect with those folks and send them a message. Premium is, I think it's like $40 a month, but I'll tell you, it's worth it. It's worth paying for the premium. It's worth getting on there and doing things, and then just connecting with normal people. Get a good professional headshot put up there. Go through and make sure your LinkedIn resume has some good keywords in it. And you'll be surprised on the things that you'll find where people are just trying to search and find somebody who, hey, this kind of meets this background. I want to talk to you. And then just slowly start, go through your friends list of people and connect with people like these INvets guys. Definitely make sure you're connected with all these guys because it's so important to start growing that network. And then when you're in the market space, once you land at that job, just start connecting with all those employees and just keep growing that network because you never know what little thing can catalyst you into a different position or different, opportunity that you didn't know about.
That's so true. And also, as a quick pitch for any of the active duty, I think LinkedIn just changed something. So before, I think, well, within this, actually, they just did it within this past year. Um, if you were a year, how can I say it? You were only able to renew for the premium for a year with your transition service member status. So now, if you're active duty, you can just keep renewing that, and that'll give you that premium access for your whole enlistment.
Yeah.
So that's a huge advantage. Like you mentioned, for anybody else, I think it's like $40 a month, but for veterans and also I believe military spouses, you can actually uh, grab the LinkedIn Premium Edition for free. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. That is a huge benefit, and I think also with the LinkedIn stuff, like you can connect your skill sets with those different jobs that you have, which, as
Mm-hmm.
Taylor mentioned, is a huge benefit, especially on the LinkedIn recruiter side. When recruiters look for certain skill sets, that's how they pull candidates. So make sure your LinkedIn is optimized for sure. There's
Yeah,
some
and
great
I will
points,
tell
Taylor.
you, yeah, I will tell you on LinkedIn, I have connected. I've got a lot of lieutenant colonels, generals on there. People I've just worked with across the time. But funny enough, how times turn and they're retired now. They're looking for a job opportunity, and who do they reach out to? Guys like me who are hiring manager. I may be a subordinate to them in the military, but now I'm somebody that they need. And because we had such a good connection, I'm able to help them, get a job, help them transition over once they come out of retirement. And I also just stay connected to a lot of folks here in Indiana because I care about the veteran community. And of course, as a hiring manager, I give a little bit different perspective on things you need on your resume, things you might want to change. So I get that little insider scoop, if you will, on occasion. So,
So I was going to ask you with the whole like resume thing, because AI is a big thing, right?
yeah.
um, what are some of the things? Because I always say, yeah, AI is a great tool, but it still doesn't. It can't paint your life story and your capacities.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that being said, would you recommend AI with resumes? Like, is it really? Do you think it should be bare bones? You know what I'm saying? Based on
Yeah.
your experience, do you feel like there's a mix? What do you think is the happy medium with that?
Yeah, I would tell you this. I would tell you that SHRM, so Senior Human Resources Management, that whole site, we're really starting to look at AI and what people are using AI for. Every AI has kind of a digital fingerprint that people are picking up on now. So it's really, it's not frowned upon. It's just you're not encouraged to use it to write your entirety of your resume because it doesn't, like you said, doesn't tell the whole story. But what I have found is it's very beneficial to get a bullet, right? If you're trying to figure out, I don't know how to say this, to put it into AI and then figure out a way, hey, how can I professionally say whatever this thing is, right? And that will help you kind of, use this word, not that, and those kinds of things. But at the end of the day, I would say, like you said, you're the only person who truly knows what you did. But you need to have two main things in your bullets: quantitative and qualitative, right? So what did you do, and then how did that make it successful, or how did it benefit, right? So how did you help that organization do whatever it is you're trying to do? And those are the type of bullet comments that are going to get you recognized, using little things like Johnny did good, right? Those things aren't going to help you out at all. But use AI to help get those creative juices going.
Perfect, perfect. Now let's shift the focus. Warrant Technologies. Like, what do you guys do, and what do you typically look for in candidates?
Yeah, good question. Warrant Technologies is a defense contractor, really. And we kind of specialize in a couple areas. We specialize in training, software, cyber, and then logistics. Those are our real kind of core functionalities. Now, those are big, broad brush painting of what Warrant Technologies does. But really, at the end of the day, our main focus is supporting the warfighter and making sure we're getting out quality products to those individuals. And I mean, we kind of focus more on technology, but that doesn't limit the capabilities. Just like you would say, most guys who are 11 Bravo would be like, hey, infantry leads the way, and everybody else is support MOS, right? But you have to have all those support MOSs to make you even be able to be functional. So we may say, hey, we're logistics or cyber or technology focused, but we also have to have all that support to make each one of those functional areas run. So you have everything from tech writers to cyber IT guys, to engineers, aerospace. I mean, just pick a thing, right? We're trying to get in that space and do it. We're a new up and coming company, about 60 deep right this second, but hoping to win some more proposals and get some more folks on. And being a veteran preference company, we are a service disabled veteran owned small business. So when it comes to that, we try to pick veterans as much as we can. We love helping vets.
Perfect. It's all about helping each other, right?
That's right.
Fantastic. All right. So as we transition, this last part, what are some things or things you want the people to remember, you know, whether it be about yourself, about service, about jobs, or Warrant Technologies that you be like to share?
Sure. Um, I will say for anybody going through the transition, a couple things. One, have a support system. I will tell you hands down, transitioning out of the military has been the most difficult thing I've ever had to do. And that's, two combat deployments and all the fun things that go on with those types of things. But really having a good support system as you transition and get away from everything, because it can kind of feel a little bit lonely and kind of feel like you're undervalued when you start getting into that civilian market. So just be conscious and aware of it. Have vets that you can reach out to or lean on, get some advice from those guys. The other big thing is just remember the good old saying that slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Because in the military, everybody wants stuff done right now, right this second. Everything's important, right? And and then you turn into the whole, now we have to wait for someone else to do their job. And the civilian world, it doesn't go that fast. It's kind of, a little just kind of goes along as it goes along. And every company's different. So you're going to have different challenges in different areas. But just remember just to go slow, let things happen. Don't try to come in and be over aggressive. I know I made that fatal mistake when I first started was I
Me
was a
too.
little too NCO-ish, right? And not enough employee-ish. So
Hmm.
slow down, kind of figure out what the company's about, figure out how they operate, how they do things, try to be involved with the company as much as you can, because these companies out here are in the same process you are. They're transitioning to somebody new. They don't know who you are. They don't know what you've done. So don't take a lot of things, personally. Just try to be understanding and help them understand you as well, because everybody's going to come out with different conditions, different ways they view life, and different perspectives on things. So if you can go slow and just kind of let that transition process take care of itself, you'll be happy. So two big things: slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Have a good transition and a battle buddy plan as you go through.
Fantastic. That is such a great takeaway as far as this session. But Taylor, I would like to thank you so much for sharing your story and also talking about Warren Technologies. Anybody out there, if you're interested in learning about more opportunities as far as Warren Technologies, feel free to talk to fellow veteran here, Taylor, or if you want to connect with him on LinkedIn, he is on LinkedIn. Great guy. Definitely get some great insight. And as mentioned, my name is Chaz Patrick with INvets, and we are here to help veterans and transition service members and their families stay in Indiana and move to Indiana. Until next time, take care.